The first of my two favorite Illustrator assignments is affectionately referred to as the eyeball. These are some examples of student work from earlier this year, and I think it kind of is obvious why I call it the eyeball. Now, this assignment for me takes place over 2 class periods. My school's class periods are 49 minutes every day. So if you're seeing your kids for 90-minute periods, obviously this would take 1 day. It is the absolute first assignment that I use when introducing them to Illustrator because it's all about working with basic shapes, in this case a circle, learning how to constrain those shapes into a perfect circle, how to constrain it, and then also how to work with your gradients. Now I'm just going to kind of fly through this particular assignment so that there's not a whole lot of instruction. If you want more detailed instructions, there will be a handout on Canvas that you can then go through and see the step-by-step instructions on how everything is done. But for now, I'm just sort of flying through, and you can see the basics of how it all works. One of the big things when working with gradients where I see a lot of kids struggle is they end up applying their gradient to their stroke and not their fill. And then also learning to work with opacity within that gradient as well. So I'm choosing where my light source is going to be. It's coming almost directly down towards my shadow, which, you know, makes sense with a shadow. Let me re-aim that a little bit. So that it's now aimed at my shadow. So we've got that nice and lovely come in, and we can play with my gradient here as well. One thing that I require when I do this assignment is I require that their gradient for their iris have a minimum of 4 colors. And the reason for that is because then they have to play with it more and they have to actually move things around to make them visible from behind that pupil. Let's do a really bright blue. So they have to move these around in order for me to be able to see that dark purple that's at the beginning of this gradient. They really have to move these things around so that everything's visible and all 4 colors. In this case, I have 5, but so that all 4 colors are visible. I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of that one. Another thing that I do is the first time I give this assignment is I ask them to make the eye color their eye color. And that just kind of limits a little bit of the crazy. I mean, I teach high school, so I'm here for the crazy, but for their very first assignment, I really want to actually see something a little more sane. So I have them do their eye color, and they do this as a follow-along demo. And then I have them do a second eyeball that is whatever color they want, and they just kind of play with that and do all the things they want to do to it, and you get some really cool and creative ideas coming from that. And then, of course, you can copy it and paste it in place. So pasting a second one, rotating it, giving it a different color, just adds another cool effect. Trying to send everything back. There we go. So bringing that up. And then the very last thing I need is a catch light coming on this iris, which we're actually going to apply a gradient to, and it's going to be a white to transparent white gradient. So just keeping it super simple, like you don't overcomplicate it. This is their introduction to Illustrator, so I like it to be nice and just straightforward. I don't overthink it. I don't try to be too artsy-fartsy with it. I just try to get those basic shapes, those basic concepts down so they can see what the eyeball is supposed to look like. So that's the eyeball assignment. Go ahead and create 2 for this particular assignment. You can do it either with the star effect or you can do it with the roughened ellipse to get it how you want it to look. Good luck.